All right, let's talk a little bit more about setting smaller goals. I gave you some tips on Monday. Today's first tip is a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger. So, every time you achieve one of these benchmarks, one of these small goals on your way, make sure that you take time to celebrate that. You haven't made your 5-year goal yet, but that's a long ways away, and you've got to celebrate those little things in between. So every time you finish something that was significant, that was important, make sure you reward yourself and do it appropriately, because that's going to help build your self confidence that you deserve to be able to get through and finish these goals. So, with the experience of having achieved a certain goal, also go back and start looking at the rest of your goal plans. So maybe if that benchmark you realize that it was a little too easy, a lot of y'all may just go through that and be like, yeah, okay, cool, I finished it. That was easy. But instead, try to make your next goal harder. You can always revise and change some of these small benchmarks as you go. If your 1 year benchmark was way too easy to reach, and you look ahead at your 2nd year benchmark and know that that's going to be super easy, revise that. Go ahead and start changing, making those a little bit more difficult. If it took way too long to achieve that, if it took longer than you thought, maybe make the next goal a little easier. So you can do both. Like, it's okay to revise your plan and to go back and kind of replan. Now, if you learn something that you would want to change for the other goals, go ahead and make sure you do that too. Maybe you notice that your skills are not progressing as you thought. Okay, maybe you should decide which goals in the future you can change. Maybe your times on that race that you're trying to run aren't improving as good as you thought, and it's going to make your goal in the future a little bit more difficult. You can change those. You can go back and revise. Okay. The first assessment for today on Wednesday is, now we're getting down to within the first year. We're looking at only 6 months from now. Okay. 6 months from now, that's going to be what, October. So in October, you'll be a freshman in a new high school. You just spent your summer possibly reaching closer to your goal. And so, where are you going to be in terms of that 5-year goal? What's something that you can achieve before October of this year in only 6 months? Okay. Another tip for setting some small goals is, when we get down really small, if we're looking at only 6 months from now or only 1 month from now, which is the next question, the importance of a daily to do list is crucial, especially now, like right now during this quarantine. If we don't have a daily to-do list, it's really easy to waste our day doing absolutely nothing. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, because I've had plenty of those days, and I've talked to plenty of you about those days too. If you don't have a daily to-do list and you don't know exactly what you're going to achieve that day, then it's going to be really easy to just waste the day. Okay. All of those tasks on your to-do list should be related to meeting your 1 month or 6 month goal. All right. The next question is, where are you going to be in 1 month? 1 month from today, we'll be almost done. I mean, we'll be in the last week of 8th grade 1 month from today. So, in that last week, finishing up all of our coursework before high school, we're not going to be back with our friends. We're still going to be at home doing this distance learning. So, what can you do at home to get closer to that goal? Can you practice that instrument every day? Can you go on a run almost every day? Can you start doing a little bit more research 1 week at a time? Like, what can you do in this 1 month to reach closer to that 5-year professional goal? All right, and that's the last assessment question, is just 1 month. We've counted all the way down. You have 4 really specific slideshows that you have put all of your hopes and goals and dreams into. And I hope that you can keep these. You can make copies of them. You can save them somewhere on your Google Drive, and you can refer back to those too. Because I'm going to ask you in 1 month during our distance learning, what have you done to get closer to this goal? Have you kept on that? I hope you've set realistic goals. I hope you've set goals that you can and want to actually achieve in the next 5 years, because we've now laid out a really specific, good plan to help you do that. And once you complete that goal, you can start looking at the next 5 years. You'll probably be 18. And so the next 5 years from that will be 23. Where do you want to be in those 5 years? Where do you want to be maybe 10 years from that, when you're closer to my age? It's scary to look into the future, but having these ideas and these plans in place on how to set these goals, it's going to make things a lot less scary. You can plan for those things. You can reach for certain things you want to achieve, and you can stay on the positive side of it. So y'all make sure and email me if you have any questions. Hopefully we can get that guest speaker a new date back here so that we can get those announcements on the Google Classroom. I am still doing my Google Meets on Mondays and Wednesdays. Anytime y'all want to drop in and say, hey, even if it's just in the chat, we'd love for you to do that. So press like and subscribe or whatever.